Hello, friends, and welcome to IHKC Live. For those of you who have never joined us before, IHKC Live is our opportunity at InnovateHER KC to talk to Women Plus leaders in Kansas City, explore the issues and the interests and the businesses and the leadership that they are all partaking of. We want to hear more. And so we are going to be talking a little bit later to Julie. Julie with Allusio, going to be talking a little bit about goals and intention and how that can be a really beautiful thing. But first, I want to talk to you a little bit about InnovateHER KC. We are a leadership community for women and gender minorities here in the Kansas City area. Our members are industry agnostic. They serve a wide range of industries, and they represent a wide array of backgrounds. We have a very diverse, inclusive, hopefully, and very activated and engaged membership. And we are very proud to help them tell their stories. One of the fabulous innovators that I am always honored to have join us for IHKC Live, I'm going to bring up Cynthia Fales, founder and CEO of Launch Crate Publishing, as well as our executive producer for IHKC Live. She is the one responsible for pulling all of the buttons. She is the wizard behind the curtain. Please welcome Cynthia Fales.
You just added me. I was like, oh, wait a minute.
I was trying to help.
Hey.
How are you, Cynthia? How are you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad that you are here, our fabulous Joy Sherpa. For those of you who don't know, that is Cynthia's official title now. Is this your official title at this point?
It's on the website, so we're going with it.
But Cynthia does a lot of work, has a book out called Decoding Joy. Definitely suggest that you pick it up. And I'm pretty sure that she's got a link handy somewhere that she can poke into the comments.
I'll put it in there.
But also does some work with Donald Carter. For those of you who know him, they're doing the what is it? The Joy and Pain tour. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What else do you do, Cynthia?
All the things. I do all the things.
You do all the things. It's
I do.
True.
Yeah.
It's true. Entrepreneur of the Year for InnovateHER KC in 2021. And one of the more intentional, fabulous advocates that I know. But Cynthia's happy duty is to help me introduce our guests to the stage and then ask us quirky questions. You're going to find out what those are all about here in just a little bit. But first things first,
I'm excited. Let's
go ahead and bring up Julie. Come on up, Julie.
Hi.
Hey, Julie.
How are you, friend?
Hey, glad to be here.
Well, we are super excited to have you. And we're going to get into Julie and her business and what she does and how she activates here in the community. But first things first, Cynthia, you want to tell us a little bit about quirky questions?
Yay. I'm excited to ask these. They really just give us another chance to get to know who you are on a human level. And no better way to do that to me than being a little bit silly with it. So today's questions are courtesy of Teen Vogue. So
okay.
I'm just saying. Heads up in advance.
Teen Vogue, huh? All
Teen
right.
Vogue, yep.
Julie, you ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Like,
okay.
Maybe. I also feel the same way, Julie. Just so you know, whenever Cynthia starts asking questions, I'm like, I think so.
I know everybody holds their breath. It's okay. You can breathe.
I haven't been a teen for a long time, so
neither have I.
All right.
All right. Question number 1. Which color has the worst personality?
Oh no.
Lots of colors on the wheel to choose.
Here's the thing.
Oh no.
I'm not trying to cop out here. I will give you a color, but I want to preface it with I don't think anybody has the worst personality. I appreciate all personalities.
All colors, all personalities.
I think we've all
we welcome all here. We
right?
get it.
There we go.
All colors are necessary. All seasons are necessary, right?
How can you appreciate bright yellow if you don't first see dull beige?
Yeah, I've got to go with kind of a medium gray.
Okay.
Gotcha. I have come to appreciate neutral colors. Style is self-care is one of my mantras, especially with my jewelry.
We're gonna hear about that later.
Right? But I like all the bright, exciting colors a lot more. So
Yeah.
All right.
I immediately went to black because I was like, I just in my head I was like picturing an emo kid like with black. I don't know, but then I was like, well, I don't know, because at least that's interesting. So I think where I landed, I think I landed on like beige. Like I'm basically thinking of like pukey colors, and I'm like, hunter, like I don't know, pea green, like I don't know, but beige would be boring. And I think like everything else, I'm like, at least there's some level of interest there.
Okay.
That like if it translated to personality, it would be interesting. I don't know. Meh. That's where I landed. There
No
are no
bad
wrong
answers.
answers
No.
here.
Second question. I'm trying to decide between these two here. What is the worst sandwich ingredient in your opinion?
Why are you doing this to me?
onions?
That's yes, mine. Raw
onions.
onions.
This is gonna be like our most divisive IHKC live.
Probably so.
Like, we talk about a lot of issues and stuff, and I'm just like, people are gonna be watching this interview, be like, "Screw you! I like beige." Okay.
Julia said raw onions.
Raw onions. I am not a raw onion girl.
See, I'm a raw onion person. Like it adds texture, crunch, complexity to a sandwich. So I think I don't know. Do you put mushrooms on sandwiches a lot? Like I deeply despise mushrooms, and it's a texture thing, and it's weird, and they're gelatinous, and I don't understand. And like I appreciate fungus for its role in our ecosystem, but like that's it. So I think I'm gonna go with mushrooms because I think sometimes people put them on sandwiches. Like I've seen them on burgers and stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I think they interact with the bun in kind of a gross way too. I like mushrooms, but maybe in a pasta or something.
Yeah. Okay. Cynthia, how about you? What's it? Wait.
Okay, raw onions for me.
For you? Okay.
Are a no-go. Yeah, they're a no-go. But I do like
What about
mushrooms.
grilled onions? Are those okay?
Grilled onions, as long as they are well grilled, are okay for me.
Okay. Good to know.
To
So
be
like
well
almost like a little bit caramelized, like it's
Yep,
got to be the right
absolutely.
texture.
Mhm.
Okay. I
Yep.
see that. All right.
Okay, I've got a 2B because you answered that too fast. So, what's the best Wi-Fi name you've seen?
Wi-Fi. Oh, somebody's network sort of.
Yeah. Oh, I have a really good one. So I love this so much. So I like to read like positive life affirming, like those little listicles where like the 10 most amazing things that happened in your neighborhood or whatever. I love that shit. So I just eat it up. But so there's this one, and it's a meme that goes around periodically, and I've seen it multiple times. But apparently this guy, he posted about how his neighbors couldn't afford Wi-Fi. And they were too proud to just use his Wi-Fi password. Like he offered to him, and they were like, no, thank you. So he changed his Wi-Fi name, his network name, to Free Council Wi-Fi, and then went to the neighbors and was like, I read about this thing. Here's the username and password. It's free Wi-Fi. And so honestly, Free Council Wi-Fi, my favorite Wi-Fi name.
That's pretty dope.
But isn't that sweet? Like that's just a really cool thing to do. I name all of my Wi-Fi networks Epicac, which people are like, is that the thing that makes you throw? Is that the fluid that makes you throw up? And no, it's actually an acronym from a Kurt Vonnegut short story about a robot who fell in love. So Epicac is always my network name.
I like it.
Yeah. How about you, Julie? What you got?
Mine are not that creative, but my favorite bakeries, I feel like it's their password, not their network name. Does that still count?
I think we'll allow it.
My favorite bakery in Kansas City's password, I think, is Loaf Life, LOAFLIFE. And I just feel like it's really it's very on brand and really good marketing. Yeah.
I feel it.
I just love it.
Wait,
it's easy to remember.
What bakery is that?
That's at Heirloom.
Okay, Heirloom. I don't know if I've been there yet. Do you know if it's woman owned? That's probably why.
I know that the male owner's wife is also a baker and helps with the running of the institution, but they are in the season of little kids, so she is primary parent. So I believe they are co-owners doing all the things.
That counts. 50% or more is kind of what we're shooting for as far as limit. So I'll take it.
Nice.
Okay.
I don't know enough about their ownership structure, but
Fair
But
enough.
Loaf Life is
Loaf Life, I love it.
yeah,
And it also feels
that's
kind of
specific.
90s, like
Uh-huh.
hip hop in
Yeah.
a way, you know?
I dig that.
dig
Well
it.
done, Heirloom Bakery. Well
Yeah.
done.
Okay, last question.
Okay.
What would you choose as the title of your memoir?
That's going to take a long time. It takes me weeks to come up with things like this.
So I actually, well, I'll go first. Give you a little bit of time.
Mhm.
So I actually, there was a period in my life where it was like a very compulsive thing, but I ate a lot of mints, like to the point where my husband would go to Quick Trip to pick up like these little packets of mints. One time he actually took the last pack, and somebody behind the counter was like, "Oh, there's a lady here who's going to be mad." And he's like, "Yeah, it's my wife. Don't even worry." Like that's how bad it got. So the memoir name in my head was Stress Eating Mints for Dinner. But I don't know if that would be as apt anymore because I no longer have that compulsive habit. So I don't know. I might have to come up with something else, but I still think it's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cynthia, I feel like as an author, this is an appropriate question for you.
Well, I don't know. I have had conversations before with some of the students that I used to work with, and the way that I navigate through life, they say it's unnatural. There's like very little fear the way that you navigate through life, and they called it unnatural. So I was like, well, maybe the unnatural would be
Ooh,
an intriguing title, but
that
yeah.
is an intrigue.
Yeah.
I would read I'd read the crap out of anything you write. I keep your book within reach.
Oh no.
Yeah, I don't think I realized, but yeah, like I have a whole big old stack of them right here.
Yay. I have a section.
They're like my comfort books. I just keep them around me. I'm like, oh, Cynthia's here.
Oh my goodness.
But so
That's
clearly, I read what you write. I would read the shit out of that.
nice.
I would want to see the movie too, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good to know.
All right, Julie, have we given you enough time?
Yeah. Mine might be something like every 4 years. I'm a leap day baby, and that gives me like a really nice chunk of time to kind of reflect and
wait a minute. Are you trying to tell me that you're like wait, how old are you right now? Are you like 6 right now?
I just turned the big 1-1. I am 11.
Okay, right. Clearly,
yeah,
you're doing something right, because I definitely guesstimated you like not way notched down on that. But so you just turned 11. Okay.
Yes.
Happy 11th birthday.
Every 4 years. I love that.
My kids love it. Yeah, they tell everyone at school.
Oh man, and that's such a great title. Okay.
Yep.
Something like that.
Well done. Well done. All right. Well, thank you so much, Cynthia, for taking the time, for popping your beautiful face in to give us some quirky questions.
Sure thing. I'll see you in a little bit later.
Bye. And now we get to the real stuff. You're in the hot seat. Are you nervous?
Let's go.
I promise you I will not be asking anything that is weird and awkward, but the first thing that I'm going to ask you. So, Julie, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I came to InnovateHER as a newly minted social entrepreneur. I've sort of pivoted from my full-time health policy work as I became a parent a few years ago. And now I have a couple of different ventures that are in the health and wellness realm, looking to improve individual health behaviors and the systemic and social influences on our health.
So your work in public health policy kind of informed, did you find that you wanted to have a more personal connection to the folks that you were serving? Like what kind of inspired the shift? You mentioned kids, and I know that that's a huge part of it, but talk to us a little bit about your why.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the primary caregiver to 2 little ones, and my husband works a really aggressive schedule. So I didn't feel like I could bring what I wanted to bring to my traditional, public health roles that I had been in and be the parent that I needed to be at that time. So it was this sudden flow as I was parenting my young children and having all these sort of quiet moments. And actually the idea for my jewelry line is really rooted in that, because I was looking for something to celebrate my two children, but I couldn't really find exactly what I was looking for. There's a whole lot of just straight up not good looking jewelry out there, right? And even some of it's tacky, right? And some of it, with the birthstones and things was cute, but wasn't really durable. And I have super sensitive skin, so I needed something that was really high quality and, celebratory, joyful, colorful. And I just wasn't finding what I was looking for. I really wanted it to be ethically made. And a lot of folks are either kind of greenwashing or not even saying anything about where their jewelry comes from or how it's made. So then I thought, what if it actually made moms feel better over time? What if it was like a prayer medal, but not religious? And that's sort of where the idea for Allusio was born. So each of my pieces come with a guide for personal growth, where you can actually turn your pendant into a tool to focus on whatever it is you're wanting to accomplish most in this era of distractions at all times from all directions.
Just constant noise.
Right. And just reduce that stress level. I mean, we're all doing too many things.
Yeah. Well, so I want to take a step back, and I want to unpack something that you just said. So you the thing that struck me, and I think this is the first time that you had said this to me about Allusio, but you wanted to make moms feel better. And as a mom yourself, you were probably experiencing your own version of, fear and frustration and tired, just constant tired. So talk to us a little bit about that. What were you hearing and what were you personally feeling that kind of coalesced into this business idea? Set the stage for us.
Yeah, it's just, nobody knows exactly what they're getting into when they become a parent, right? You're already doing all of the things, and then you drop these other humans into the mix that you're suddenly responsible for.
And you have to keep alive.
So even if you've had a good routine going with exercise and eating well and taking time to yourself and, all the things that we need for self-care, suddenly, you're at the bottom of your own priority list. These little humans are at the top. And I think hardly any of us have the village that we really want when that kid is first in our arms. It's just, it takes some time. Not all of us have family living nearby. Some of us have chosen family that can help out, and, real biological grandparents that are interested in helping out. But a lot of us don't. And even some of us with family nearby, they're just, not available or they don't want to help. And that's fine.
Sometimes grandma and grandpa already did their time.
Yeah, they're kind of done.
And boundary that
I respect that. So you're dropped into this new situation with, this other human to take care of, and you may or may not have a whole lot of help. And even if you do, you still have to figure out how to take care of yourself and this human and make it work together. And how am I going to feed my family and work and all of the other things, right? It's a lot.
Well, and so I do just want to kind of underscore something, and you're not alone. We know that being a parent can be a challenging proposition. People are declining to become parents at a higher rate than any other point in our history because of that very fact. It's hard. And I think we all know that. And I also think that we all know, or we've all heard, that as a parent, sometimes it's really easy to lose yourself, to lose sight of who you are in the face of who these little people are and what society expects you to be for these little people and as a mom. And so I'm curious, do you feel like Allusio is kind of speaking to that, trying to kind of fill that void or strengthen that loss of self?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, during the time of being a new parent, and as I was creating this jewelry line, was really a lot of exploration into myself and how do I want to present myself to the world, because it's easy to get lost in the sweats and the spit up and not brushing your hair and just barely making things work. But we know that what we put on changes how we feel and changes how we show up in the world. So I do think style is self-care. I do think it sets a good example to your kids, to your coworkers, to the people around you when you're showing up in a way that says, I care about participating in the world and I care enough about myself to take some time and think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so I do want to make sure to acknowledge that, like, sometimes that kind of self-care, you know, it can come with a price tag. And so I do just kind of want to note that, like, there's a little bit of privilege in being able to get dressed up and to buy all the pretty things. And so I do want to acknowledge that, you know, sometimes that's out of reach for folks. But that being said, you know, as you're talking, I do just want to remind folks, I get questions about this all the time. All the time. In fact, Julie, I think you and I even had this same conversation. But like InnovateHER KC as an organization, we are very aware that we serve a group of predominantly women, and women have a tendency to be the primary caregiver, whether they're a single parent or they're in a two-parent household, whatever that looks like. So just real quick for folks who are playing at home and watching and might be interested, when you come to InnovateHER events, I always try to explain to folks, we are kid-friendly, not kid-focused. You are more than welcome to bring your children, and it happens many, many times. I cannot promise that your children will not become IHKC mascots, because that's what seems to happen. You will also, I promise you that you will have like 30 to 40 at minimum individuals looking out for your kids. So, but yeah, usually at InnovateHER events, we see little children running around and it's like, this is how it is. We're not going to create programming. And I promise you, they're probably going to hear a cuss word, but they're more than welcome, because we acknowledge the fact that our members might need that, might need the little boost that not having to find childcare can give, or, you know, being able to kind of rest and relax a little bit, knowing that your kids are in a safe place and they're playing with other kids and they're surrounded by a whole bunch of moms who love kids. So I did just want to acknowledge that, let our friends know your kids are welcome at our events. But I can see that it could potentially be a really, really, maybe a lonely experience to be a parent, and especially to be a primary caregiver. So talk to us about Allusio. You know, you've got this beautiful jewelry, but I'm really, really interested in the mental health kind of goal programming, you know, intention setting. Let's hear about that.
Yeah. So each of my pieces comes with a guide that's really beautiful. It's based on a prayer book that I saw in a museum in Chicago that reminded me of one that my grandpa had, where you could see the rosary through a little window in the front of the book before you opened it. And so that's how my jewelry is presented, in this little window of this completely non-religious guide for personal growth. But we borrow concepts from neurobiology and cognitive psychology and project management to kind of help you decide what is the thing that I most want to focus on, break that down into its smaller components, and then, you know, a really personalized mantra for moving forward day to day. When you see yourself in the mirror, when you touch the jewelry, when you feel it on your skin, when someone compliments you on it, you can kind of come back to this intention that you've set for yourself and hopefully, you know, reduce stress over time and accomplish those things that you're setting out to do.
Yeah. So some of my favorite jewelry is of the empowerment variety. I actually have a bracelet that I wear on a pretty frequent basis, and it, don't judge me, but the affirmation that's on it is, remember who the fuck you are. And like, it's kind of in my head, it's kind of my reminder that, like, I'm not a weak person. I can set boundaries. I can stand up for myself. I can stand up for others. I don't have to be scared, because I know who the fuck I am, and I know what I want, where I want to be. And that's all very changeable, but having, and yeah, like wearing the bracelet is a really great reminder for me.
Yeah.
You know, like I look down at it and I'm like, that's right, bitch. Remember who the fuck you are, And so that is that kind of the feeling that you were trying to inspire.
Yeah, of course. And all of our pieces are customizable. So if you have favorite team colors or you have favorite birthstones, that remind you of somebody special, or, your alma mater, you can work that into your feelings about your jewelry. But I really wanted it to be something that people can wear, whether they're at the beach or in the boardroom. It's super durable, and it's a more sustainable choice, not just because of how it's made, but when you're making that emotional connection with a piece, what we call emotional resonance with something that you're wearing, it's not going to end up in a landfill in a year or two when you think it's out of style or not cool anymore, and that's to your earlier point about, style and clothes and having pretty things. It's not always about like finding the most expensive thing. Sometimes it's just about, I really like this color and it really resonates with me.
Yes.
Or I could pick up a bottle of Rit dye and change this sweater that I haven't worn in 3 years into something that I really like instead, at a not much of a cost, or swap clothes with friends that, make me feel really confident when I wear them and remind me of who I am,
Yeah. I love that. Well, can you give us an example of a goal that would really, like maybe a goal that you've seen, or a goal that you set personally, or, a vibe that you set personally? Like, can you talk to us about your experience with the jewelry?
Yeah. I mean, my other, couple of businesses around health and wellness involve individual behavior change with fitness, for example. I'm also a Pilates instructor. So I know a lot of people in that world are trying to establish an exercise routine. Okay. So that could be something that we break down into, when I set out my clothes every day, I know I'm going to show up at, my walk or my gym or whatever it is that you're wanting to do. And that's going to make me feel stronger. Okay. So setting up something like that, that's maybe a little more succinct, but related to your fitness goal. When I move my body, I grow stronger. And that becomes the focus. And, if you know anything about habit formation, you're creating this sort of feedback loop where every time we internalize that message, we're more likely to follow through on doing what we're actually telling ourselves we're going to do.
Yeah. Well, and I really love the kind of gradual process that you at least introduced in that example. So like one of the things that I know, and I learned it is neurobiologically backed, but I know because I went through rehab, but it's that first step is often the most important, and it is often the hardest. And so usually psychologically, like people who are really into psychological modalities, they start with the small thing. We're going to have you go for a walk. It is easier to contemplate going for a 5-minute walk around the block than it is to do a 10K run. And like Cynthia, she's doing 10Ks like water these days, it seems like, but I have literally watched her progression. And like most people, they're not going to be able to get up the next day and run a 10K. Like you have to kind of figure out, how does this integrate into my life? What is going to work for me? And when you talk about building habits, what are the small steps that you can take in service of a larger whole, right? And so like having that, not just having that ability to like kind of break down your goals, but then that constant reinforcement and reminder as I'm like touching places that you have jewelry, that can be really helpful, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's a constant sort of visual and like kinesthetic reminder of what it is you're focusing on, to cut through the noise, because we're thrown, tens of thousands of messages all day, every day.
Inundated with noise. And like even you as like a fitness instructor, I'm sure that there are any number of people who are like, Pilates sucks, do yoga. Wait, no, yoga sucks. Let's do Zumba, and there's just there's a lot competing for our attention. And so I can really appreciate the value in like having something quiet that's just for you, that's really beautiful, that helps you cut through everything.
It goes back to doing what works for you, right?
Yeah.
Because your goal isn't going to be the same as everybody else's goal.
Yeah. So just so you know, and one of these, I'm going to have to figure out how to get you connected if you're not already, but we do have, so like Crystal Webster, she's one of our members. She's got an organization called Sharing Solace, where individuals who are experiencing grief due to the passing of a loved one, she has created this jewelry that, like, as you are kind of dealing with your grief and figuring out what it looks like, and again, like, grief never really goes away. It's just something that you kind of fold into your life and figure out how to manage it, but like, it doesn't go away. And so like, she's created this jewelry to do kind of something similar to what you're doing. Like, hey, it's okay to feel it. It's okay to look at it. It's okay to be surrounded by that grief. Like, so I love that she has created this really beautiful thing that's centered around help and like figuring out how to help people move beyond. And I mean, it sounds like fundamentally that's really what you're doing as well. Like, how do we keep moving forward as human beings and individuals? And how do we do that in a really beautiful way, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I actually had a friend when I started this idea, she had lost a baby at term, and, you know, her friends wanted to get her something, but, you know, couldn't figure it out. And she said how much she would have liked something that felt really joyful like this,
Yeah.
you know, with the baby's birthstone, that, you know, she would be proud to wear out so that people could see it and it could be a conversation piece, because she still thinks about that every day, and that was a decade ago.
Yeah, and I know that this
you
is
want to hide something underneath your shirt that nobody's going to see, and, you know, you're never going to think about, you know. A lot
I
of
know
people
that
want
this
to
is
share
not
that
our grief
experience.
episode, and so I don't want to dwell on it too much, but I will say that we did have a grief episode for National Grief Awareness Day, and one of the conversations that we had was the fact that, like, one of the frustrations is that often, because people are so awkward and don't know what to say, that we avoid talking about the person who has passed.
Right.
And like, that can be really painful to a parent or like someone who loved them, because you're like, I don't want to erase that. I wish this individual were here, but if they can't be, I certainly don't want to forget them. And I don't want them to be like shoved under a rug somewhere. So like, again, those visual reminders can be really, really powerful in how they show up in our life. Friends, really quickly, just a reminder, if you have questions for Julie, I just said jewelry. If you have questions for Julie, if you have questions about Allusio, if you have questions about mental health or even health policy, please don't hesitate to pop them over into the comments. Right now, I believe we are streaming to YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. I can see Cynthia is already testing the the functionality. Excellent job, Cynthia. Thank you. But so Cynthia would like to know, can you tell us about the Trustery?
I sure can. Yeah. So that's a nonprofit organization that was created to empower caregivers around youth mental health. So right now we have, my co-founder is in St. Louis. I'm here in Kansas City, and we have board members from all over the country. And we have sort of crowdsourced, localized lists of providers that have been helpful to other parents with youth mental health. I think one of the things that's most frustrating when you're dealing with a young person with a mental health challenge is, unless you've already established care with someone, it's just really hard to find a practitioner who works with maybe kids your, you know, this kid's age. My daughter was 5 when she was showing really scary anxiety moments at school with a school separation kind of thing, and just completely melting down every day. And I didn't know where to go. And that's part of where the Trustery started. We teach a youth mental health curriculum that's a 6 to 8 hour kind of course that's great for teachers and other people that work with children in a professional setting, but most parents don't have time to sit in front of their computer for that long, or take a weekend off and, you know, attend a big session like that. So we try to break things up into more digestible pieces for parents and other caregivers. We have a really cool free discussion guide that they can just take into their backyard with friends and family and kind of break down some of the myths and stigma around youth mental health and mental health more generally too. Get to talking about how they were raised and maybe break some cycles that they're seeing with their kids and how they're behaving now, bring some self-awareness there.
Yeah, we've got a comment, empowerment for all. We love it. And we do love it. What an incredible tool. So friends, just for a little bit of context for you, in the innovator community, it's very active, and we see a lot of the same kinds of questions come through on a regular basis. And one of the really, really, really big ones that we see consistently all the time are, I'm looking for mental health counseling for my teenager. Or the two that we get are counselors that focus on LGBTQIA issues and counselors that focus on youth issues. Like those are, because when you find out that your child is struggling mentally, like where do you go? Who do you talk to? And often the answer that our members and many, many, many people out in the world get are like, I don't know, good luck. May the odds be ever in your favor. Google search it is. Like, there's no really great tool or vehicle to figure out like what that plan looks like for an individual family, right? And so the Trustery, that's what you're doing. That is very cool.
Right now, we have a list that we can share with you locally here in Kansas City, and we're trying to move that into a web-based portal. We're looking for funding for that right now. I need to
you can do it really, ask me how I know, but you can do it really, really cheaply with Airtable and Pori.
I'll follow up with you on that. But we would like to pilot it with, a local municipality, because people really are scrambling for that kind of help. We always encourage people to be proactive, and try to establish care with someone before they need it, because it can take 6-12 months, to get in to see someone, especially if you're looking for free and reduced cost services.
Right.
If you're willing to pay out of pocket, you can get in to see someone a bit sooner, but they may or may not be a good fit. It can take a while to figure this out. So I also refer people all the time to Mental Health America has free screeners online for both younger kids, where a parent or their caregiver would fill out the screener, and older kids can fill it out themselves. And then they can kind of point you towards resources or say, gee, this sounds like a crisis situation and you should call the 988 crisis hotline immediately. So those are a couple of options for folks who are looking locally. Definitely reach out and contact me, and I can share with you what I've got.
Yeah. Well, so I love that. And we definitely encourage folks watching, playing at home, to reach out to Julie should you have questions, need support or assistance, or if you want to help, definitely do that. But so Julie, I want to ask you this, because you're doing, it's like you have a multi-pronged approach around wellness and mental health. Like you're like, I'm a trainer, and also I have a nonprofit, and also I have jewelry, and like, that's a lot of stuff. And it's wonderful. And I'm like giving you all of the love. But if you had to condense down a piece of advice to folks who might be out there struggling with that intention setting, goal setting, mental health, wellness, all of the things, what advice do you have for them? What words of encouragement or affirmation do you have for folks who might be struggling?
Yeah, it's two-pronged here. So one is just, the basic pillars of mental health are the same as the ones for physical health. So sleep, nutrition, movement, seeing the sunshine, staying hydrated. Okay. These sorts of things that in our modern life, some of us have really lost sight of this, right?
Yeah.
But they really are really important. So I would start, if you're waiting 3 months to see a practitioner, those are things you can start kind of troubleshooting, to the extent you have a village to help you with that.
Yeah.
Right away, okay, well, gee, what can I do to, sleep better? Maybe move my body a little bit more, maybe make, good choices with what I'm putting into my body. These are things. So there's that sort of self-care piece that's important, whether it's physical or mental health. And so then
that's step one, or that's steps like 1 through 10.
One. And the other thing to remember, and this is a reinforcing cycle. The other thing to remember is our social structures are not set up in a way that is intended to make you healthy. Okay. So
wait. So what is that? I want you to unpack that for us a little bit. What does that mean?
So let's talk about transportation, housing, the way we work, whether we're sitting in front of a computer all day or we're working 2 and 3 jobs to make ends meet, whether we have access to healthy vegetables and fruits and lean protein in an accessible, affordable way in our neighborhoods, whether our neighborhood is safe to walk around in, to recreate, right? So the system has not gone out of its way to help you in this regard, right? There are a lot of us, and it's just important to know that in the back of your head, it's not necessarily your fault if your sleep, nutrition, movement, and all of these things are not perfect. Okay. I don't like shaming people for not getting up an hour earlier to do some yoga and do some journaling, although that sounds great. But if you're already not getting enough sleep, I'm never going to tell you to sacrifice your sleep to do these other things that will also make you healthy. Right. If you're up in the middle of the night with children, you need to sleep. Okay. If you're in survival mode,
you have to build that really strong foundation of wellness and then build on top of that. Start from a place of strength and then see what you can do to incrementally improve.
If you're in survival mode, you might be able to tweak one thing, but I think it's also important for us to understand the systems that are in place are just not necessarily helping most of us out with those kind of pillars of health. Knowing what I know about the healthcare system and everything they're trying to do for efficiency and effectiveness in the healthcare system, it's actually a lot of this other stuff outside the system that is making it harder for us to make good choices. So don't beat yourself up so much about that. It is not your failure when your self-care routine doesn't get perfect.
Well, and I think that's like a really struggle. So I have anxiety and I have depression, clinically diagnosed. have been medicated at different points. I'm currently not, but luckily I've been able to go to therapy and I've got some cognitive coping strategies, but there are still days where it's sometimes the win and sometimes the next right action is getting out of bed. Mm-hmm. And sometimes the next right action after that is hopping into the shower for 5 minutes so that I don't smell like BO anymore. And sometimes I've had to learn that my high achieving, ambitious self, sometimes that's the greatest win that you can experience. And I've had to get really comfortable with ask of yourself what you are capable of, not what you aspire to be. If you can just do what you're capable of and continue to do that and build on it, eventually you'll get to that aspirational piece. But in the meantime, be kind to yourself. Yeah. So I love that so much. And Julie, I am so grateful that you took the time to come and talk to us about the Trustery and Allusio. You are doing incredible work on behalf of IHKC. However you need support, if you need help broadcasting a message, that's what we're here for. We love to do that. But really, for all the folks watching, just huge round of applause for you and your work and everything you do. And thank you so much for your support of InnovateHER KC. We appreciate that as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we're gonna kick you out now, Julie. But if you want to say bye, and we're gonna bring Cynthia back up because she's gonna keep me on the straight and narrow as we close it out. Hi, Cynthia.
Hey, Julie's doing some amazing stuff.
Some amazing work. I kind of knew, I kind of knew a little bit about what to expect, but even just being able to dive in deeply into it, I was like, holy shit, you are much more baller than I thought. And I already thought you were pretty awesome. That was great.
I love it.
I want to get you a necklace or something from Allusio. I swear. I just do.
Yeah. Instead of my sugar plum necklace.
I mean, I do enjoy your sugar plum, but if you ever wanted to mix it up, do I have the opportunity for you?
I know where to find it.
So
awesome.
So Cynthia, I'm going to try to do this. Watch this. I pulled up my calendar. You're very, very proud. Okay. Friends, what's coming up with InnovateHER KC? I'm going to try something a little different here because I do want to tell you tomorrow is the Small Business Celebration Awards. That's not an IHKC event. It's through the chamber, but there are going to be some really amazing innovators honored. I think we've got Elena Page Thomas of the Next Page Agency up for Small Business of the Year. Pretty sure that Nalima Parasker of Snap IT Solutions, she's also one of our members. So we've got a lot of awesome women-owned businesses being recognized and potentially up for Small Business of the Year.
Yeah.
Juneteenth Jump Off is coming up. That is with Casey Black owned by one of our members. That is on Friday. And they're just going to be highlighting a lot of Black owned businesses in celebration of Juneteenth. June Social Snack. This is an IHKC event. Our social snack for June is going to be the Heart of America Shakespeare Festival. We're going to go see Julius Caesar. It is free to attend. Feel free to bring snacks and drinks and all of that fun stuff, but let's enjoy a play together. On Wednesday the 19th, we have Keystone Sessions. IHKC partners with our co-brands partners with Keystone Innovation District once a month. We will be talking about issues affecting the LGBTQIA community for Pride, because I don't know if you all knew it, but it's Pride Month, baby. So we'll be doing that. And then, we've got a Cypher, which is an innovator-owned company. They just changed their name from Foresight. We've got the launch party on the 22nd. Excited about that. And then we have a mentoring circle meetup for our enhanced members. That is going to be on the 27th at 12:30 to 1:30. It is a virtual event. If you're an enhanced member, we look forward to seeing you.
Can we pause there for a second and just acknowledge that Julie is one of our enhanced members?
Julie is one of our enhanced members, and I'm very, very much looking forward to seeing her at our mentoring circle. And so this is actually really fun. And for those of you who are enhanced members, so I tried something new and different this last time, and I was like, let's talk about our BHAGs, because we do that in the innovator community periodically. A BHAG is a big, hairy, audacious goal. And I was like, let's talk about those. And then what was really fun, and what's really fun when it happens in the innovator community, and now it's really cool in these mentoring circles, is like you start talking about a challenge that you're experiencing, and you have all of these women who are just like, I can help, I can connect you to so-and-so, you should try this. And it's like really invigorating.
Yeah.
I don't know how
Power
to
of
describe
community.
it.
I love it. It's the power of community.
That's right. It's the whole, I've started calling that the innovator hypothesis.
Yes,
Like,
absolutely.
if you give people the opportunity to connect and help each other, they will do so. And I'm like, we're winning.
Yep.
So that is coming up. Keep in mind, we have office hours. That's every Friday that I am not in my EMBA program. You can sign up for those. Let us know. We'll shoot you a link. But basically, there are a lot of opportunities to plug in with InnovateHER KC, and we certainly want you to do so. We would love to see you, connect with you, collaborate with you, and really juice you up. That's what we do. We love to champion people.
Absolutely.
Right? So what am I missing, Cynthia?
That took us through June. That was a lot.
So damn busy.
There are a couple of events in July before we get to our next live.
There are. We have a monthly meet. So our monthly meetups are the first Tuesday of every month, which this month is July 2nd. And I was going to try to have it. Oh, by the way, folks, the Littlest Bake Shop, innovator-owned business, they were just vandalized. We were going to try to have our monthly meetup there, but they're not open on Tuesdays. I was like, shit. So I don't know exactly where we will be, but it will be a coffee from 8:30 to 10 on July 2nd. That'll be our monthly meetup. And that's what I got.
All
okay.
Right.
Now what am I missing?
Just the closing.
Just the closing. Do you want to do it, or do you want me to try?
You try. Let's see how well you do.
Okay. She's so much better than I am at this. But friends, if you liked what you saw here, if you're excited about InnovateHER KC and want to support, please make sure to like, watch, subscribe, join, be our friend. Did I get it all?
And share.
Oh, shoot. And share. See, this is why she's much better than I am. But please make sure to share, support digitally, just as we love to support you digitally and in person. We love you so much. Thank you for taking the time to chat with us. And Cynthia, do you want to take us out? You're going to do it better.
No, we're good.
Okay. All right, friends. Well, this has been IHKC Live. I'm Lauren Conaway, founder and CEO, here with Cynthia Fales, executive producer of IHKC Live. We were excited to see you. We'll catch you next time.